Welcome to TraditionalCubanFood.com. I'm your host Henry, and I am the Cuban Cook. Flan. Our ingredients are 12 ounces of evaporated milk, 14 ounces sweet condensed milk, 3 teaspoons of vanilla, 3 eggs, 2 egg yolks, and 1 cup of sugar. Today we're making flan. Pretty excited about this. This is my all-time favorite dessert. This brings back so many memories as a kid, standing there in the kitchen with my mom as she was making her flan, giving me the spoon to lick, and it just brings back so many memories. And this is my all-time, as I said, my all-time favorite dessert. Okay, so in order to make our flan, we need some sweet condensed milk, some evaporated milk, and you could look at my website for the exact measurements, or at the beginning of the video I've put exactly how much. We need 5 regular size eggs, a cup of sugar, 3 teaspoons of vanilla. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees. So let's go ahead and start mixing this. My evaporated milk goes into the container. My sweet condensed milk is next. And like I said, it brings back so many memories, because when we got to this point, my mom or my grandma would give me the spoon, or give me the empty can, and I would take out the little remaining bit that was in there. I used to love doing that. Okay, so we have that, our vanilla, and now we're going to put in our eggs. Whenever I use eggs in a recipe, I like doing them individually. You know, sometimes you take your eggs and you just dump them and break them in a container, then you have one bad egg, then you have to throw the whole thing out. Okay, so we have 5 eggs, 3 whole eggs and 2 yolks. I break them into my dish, and from there I pour in 1 egg, 2 eggs. Now I'm going to show you a pretty neat trick. 3 eggs. I'm going to show you a pretty neat trick for pulling out the yolk. Take my egg, break it into my container. Now I'm going to take an empty water bottle. I'm going to suck some of the air out of it. I'm going to put it right over the yolk and let it go. And there's my egg yolk. Then I just drop it into my mixture. No separating, no mess. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to start it up and let it just mix in there. While this is mixing, we're going to do our sugar mixture for the bottom, or for what turns out to be the top when you turn it over, but for the bottom of our pan. Now I use a glass pan whenever I make my flan. Some people make them in flan molds, because they make molds for it. Some people make them in pressure cookers. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. The way I'm showing you is the way I was brought up doing it. And to me, it's just the most creamiest, most delicious flan I've ever had. I'm going to make the caramel sauce that goes in the pan before I pour in the mixture. What we're doing is we're actually making a candy, if you will. Now sugar, the crystallization of sugar breaks down at 320 degrees. Now 10 and 20 degrees above that, it now begins to turn brown. So you want to make sure that your pan is not too hot. Right now I'm a little hot. I'm going to pour in my sugar, and I am constantly going to begin to stir. Now my glass mold that I'm using, I have it on the other burner on the stovetop, and I have it on the lowest flame possible, simply just to heat up my glass a little bit. I don't want to pour a very hot mixture into a glass pan, because that can cause your glass pan to break. You want to keep it moving so that you don't burn. I use a non-stick pan in this process just because it's easier to clean. But the way I usually clean it is while it's still hot, I take a paper towel and I just wipe it down really quick. Just be careful that you don't get any of this mixture on your hands, because it is hot and it will give you a pretty severe burn. Completely, I turn my attention over to my glass form, and I'll just pour it in there like so. Now remember, I heated up that pan, that glass mold, just a little bit. And I stir it around to the edges a little bit, just so that when I put in my flan mixture, it has a nice golden edge around it. It just makes it look great. Okay, now I'll just put that there and let it cool. I'm going to add the flan mixture to that. And I typically put it on a cookie sheet. Then what I do is I put a little bit of water in the cookie sheet itself. Just so that it doesn't burn the flan on me. Now I have my flan in the oven. I'm going to clean up my stuff in the meantime. And now we put it in there for 55 minutes at 350 degrees. We'll come back and check it in 50 minutes. Okay, my flan is ready to come out of the oven. So I'm going to take my flan. Be very, very careful. This is hot. I'll put it up on top of my stove top. Let it come down to room temperature. Then I'll stick it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. Our flan has been cooling in the refrigerator for a few hours, and now I'm ready to flip it. Okay, now we're going to run our knife around it just one more time and make sure we're not stuck. Just lift up a little bit right there, get some air underneath it. Sometimes it creates a suction that makes it difficult to flip. Then we're going to put our plate on it and we'll flip it right over. Like I said, sometimes it creates a little suction. And there you have it. And our flan is ready to slice. I typically like slicing it into 6 pieces. Sometimes I slice it as 8, like a pizza. We're going to take a slice of the flan out, and it's ready for us to enjoy. Okay, and here you go, and as always, buen provecho.